Hello, everybody. Today we are back with the OSEA Minecraft competition. So sorry for technical difficulties, but we're joined with
Justin Grange.
Alex Monahan.
Safety Davis.
Michaela Tutt.
So this is round 2 of the competition. They're tasked to make the Olympic Games Stadium, so we'll get right into that and look at the.
Three Olympic events, but I'm pretty sure this stadium has 4. So first we have some diving boards here, so obviously they can use it for diving. And I also heard that this pool is accessible for water polo. So under the pool, there's all the equipment for water polo, and then obviously they have swimming, so you can do all Olympic swimming. You want to talk about the broadcast just a little bit?
Sure, so here we have, it looks like a broadcaster booth. So the Olympic Games can be broadcasted on TV. And another interesting thing that the teams had to incorporate into their builds was to make sure that their builds are sustainable. So we heard the team talking about how, since it's made of glass, they're able to use the heat from the sun to keep the building warm. And that's a great way to have a sustainable build.
So now we're gonna notice the change rooms there, so that's great because obviously you need to be able to change into your athletic clothes and from your casual clothes. So we have several change rooms. You also have washrooms, so that's great because when you're done, doing your athletic sport, you gotta be able to use that washroom to relieve yourself of. Biofilter, okay, perfect. So we have a biofilter in here. So biofilter is a great sustainable filter for the pool so that it's not dirty, so that you're clean while you're swimming around and competing. It's very sustainable.
We also saw an elevator. If you can just go back to the elevator quickly. So an elevator, that's a great use for accessibility because stairs, people in wheelchairs can't get up the stairs, but now an elevator, it allows access to the stands for everybody to watch, which is a great touch.
And that looks like most of the aspects of the stadium. Also, something that we forgot to note is on the right side we have the Olympic Games logo, obviously the 5 rings. So that's another nice touch that they added to the stadium. But overall, those were the main aspects of the stadium. So that's our first build made by the ladies of Minecraft group. And now we're just gonna cut to our lunch break. the OC Ontario Minecraft Provincial Esports Tournament. Now we're going into the third round. We're going to look at the team, the Wardens, making their build. So we're in the planning phase of the third round. So now each team has 10 minutes to just plan out their build before it will all get erased, and now they'll have 20 minutes to build. And the criteria for this round are?
So firstly, you'll have to design a futuristic transportation system amid an urban scenescape. So you have to have like some type of future transportation system, like flying cars through like a bustling city.
Next one is there are a variety of transportation options available, so flying vehicles, each with their own transportation mode and own infrastructure. So, for example, landing pads.
They also want to incorporate things such as renewable energy and sustainability. So maybe things such as solar power, water power, wind power, are all things that can be used here instead of the traditional coal and oil.
Yeah, sure. And furthermore, they just have to showcase like all the technology, all the advanced technology, because the task of this build is to just build out a futuristic city. So you just have to think, it can't look like a current city. It's got to look like using future technology. So right now we're looking at the planning phase of this team.
So right now it looks like they're counting out the blocks, kind of trying to set up that structure. And like we mentioned before, since this is the planning phase, once the time has run out, they have 10 minutes, then this planning will be erased before they start the actual build. So they could be counting their squares so that they can start their coding, or it could be just so that they have great symmetry. So this button here, the delete build, this is what they'll have to press before the actual building round starts to clear the space. And we're actually looking at the screen of one of the team members of the Wardens. So we're getting that real first-person view of what's going on in their planning process.
So while they're figuring everything out, we'll just be watching the planning process. Currently, they still seem to be figuring out the mapping, seeing how much space they have and where they're going to start.
Immediately, quartz is very commonly used for futuristic buildings and modern buildings. So when I'm also building things in Minecraft, I tend to use quartz a lot for modern houses, modern skyscrapers, anything really modern is mainly used by quartz. Looks like they just came up with what they were doing.
So now we're just going to sit back a little bit, watch the planning phase go on, and make any comments that we see could be beneficial. Here they're using a fill command. You're allowed using some commands to just fill. This helps to, if you don't know what fill is, you can put in coordinates and type of blocks, and it'll fill that certain area that you specify with the coordinates with that type of block. So you can make like a whole flooring be a certain type of floor, which I think they're doing here. I think they're making the floor grass, it seems like, which is a smart tactic that saves time.
Also, something to note is now they've used up around 5 minutes of their planning phase, so they've got 5 minutes left, and then they will have to delete everything and start building. And when time is a restraint, obviously using stuff like fill is very helpful. So they're trying to figure that out now, so they'll have that ready in the future.
Right now we are noticing that the team is communicating with each other, not over the game, but via verbally to each other. Looks like one of them has a drawing out on their right. They had a pencil out, so it looks like they're just trying to plan it on paper and with each other before they even put it on the place.
When trying to build a proper and good build, you want to win, you must be able to collaborate properly. So the planning phase is very important. Not just to figure out what you're going to build, but to figure out everyone knows their job, so no one's bumping heads during the building process.
So for those of you who are watching right now, the way that these rounds kind of work, at the beginning of the round, the prompt is read off to the different teams, and then afterwards they have 10 minutes to work together, collaborate, and figure out what they're going to build, and this is what you're seeing right now. After this, they have 20 minutes to do the actual building, which we will be seeing in a couple minutes. Very excited. And then after that, the judges have a chance to, during the building period, the judges are watching the whole process of building. Then they'll have their own time, 15 minutes, where the different teams will give a short presentation and really dive into the building, why they made certain choices, and especially explaining things that you can't necessarily understand just by looking. And then after that, judges hand in their score sheets, and we can get the final results. And thanks to everybody who's joining us on the live stream today. We really appreciate it. And hope you're having a good time hanging out with us.
Something else to notice that we're realizing now is that the competitor that we're watching has the command ready, the /fill ready, so as soon as the time starts for them to build, he can just click it and get ready to building. So that's just another thing that some competitors might be doing, some others might not be, and it just helps you to get that extra advantage.
All right, we're looking at 15 seconds on the clock before they stop the collaboration phase and right into the building phase. Five, four, three, two, one. And that is the end of the collab phase. All right, right now, look at that. Just hit the 1024 blocks filled command right onto it. Looks like they did a great job in their collaboration phases. They know exactly what they're doing, exactly what each role is. Looks like they're making some sort of platform, either for a building or structure. Looks like a building. Oh, someone else is on him, one on the top right of the screen. Oh, and another one on the bottom left. So this is looking really good. They know exactly what they're supposed to do, exactly what measurements they have to meet to.
And as Justin noted earlier during the planning phase, it seems apparent that they're using quartz to give that futuristic feel. So now we just see a competitor in the middle building what appears to be a large tower. And in the corners, the other competitors are building supports, probably. Yeah. Or other towers.
A white concrete tower.
All right, we just made a note that it is not quartz, but it is white concrete, which is very similar in color and texture. So as long as it has that modern feel, which we did get from this building as we mixed it up with quartz, then it's going to meet those requirements. Looks like there's another building made in the top left, so it looks like there'd be 4 corners in the middle. Middle's going to be the biggest building. I can't wait to see what mode of transportation they decide to use as their futuristic design.
And another really important aspect of these builds, as we kind of talked about before, is that communication and collaboration. because we're just seeing the screen of one of the team members, but there are still, let's see, on this team, there are 4 members, and they all have to make sure that they're working together towards this common build, which is why that 10 minutes of planning is really important, and it needs to be used as well as possible, which is really helpful to have great communication to actually make proper use of that time.
It appears the breaking part of the building, potentially to be putting glass, I believe, maybe, just to give some more texture and more feel to the actual buildings, because just a big block of concrete isn't quite what a building would actually look like. And yeah, in case you're just joining us here in the comments, I see someone's asking why they're building towers. The theme of the this round 3 is to create a future city, so they have to make obviously buildings and new transportation.
So again, back to this. Oh, it appears it is not to place glass. It is to make some divots or some sort of texture to the building, which is great. You don't want just a big rectangle as you're building. You want some sort of shape and size and uniqueness to the structure.
Furthermore, I remember during the planning phase, I heard some talk of a power plant. So part of the criteria was utilizing sustainable energy, because hopefully in 100 years we will be. So I believe that it will be something we will see from these competitors.
Just like Safe said, that is part of the criteria, some sort of renewable energy to power these futuristic devices, because obviously if it's that deep in the future, it's going to require some sort of energy source, some sort of hefty energy source, so that use is perfect.
This is an ingenious idea here by the team, using barrier blocks to place the water, because currently if you use water in the Minecraft game, it would flow in all directions. But using barrier blocks, you create an invisible barrier, creating the water in that one column that they want to keep it in, instead of it flowing everywhere. If they use some objects such as glass, maybe there would be a texture, but they're not trying to get that. They just want to have a nice, clean looking water with no objects in the way, which is why they're using barrier blocks.
We saw some technical difficulties going on, but they seem to have it under control now. And I really like the use of water with the structures. It just kind of goes away from the traditional aspect of what we think a futuristic, what we think society looks like. Yeah. And it really surprised me, the creativity there, because we all thought it was going to be Windows, and surprised us. So I'm excited to see what other directions they take it from here.
And throughout this whole day, especially, we can really see how much of Minecraft experts all of these kids are. I know that, speaking for myself, I could not do all of this at their age. They are so creative. Their skills are crazy, not just with the actual building techniques themselves, but just having the knowledge of all the different blocks that are there, how to use them effectively, how to actually plan for these builds. But at the same time, keeping in mind the building challenge, plus the sustainability aspect and all the different specifications for the build. So there's a lot to really keep in your mind as this challenge is going on, and they're managing incredibly well. So big props to them. They are the real experts here.
So looking right now at what we see on the side, noting the solar panels that they are placing on the roof, so that's great for renewable energy, harnessing the energy of the sun and using it to power these futuristic devices. Along with that, we can see on the edge of the world they have some sort of bridge. Is that bridge, as it seems? Some sort of, yeah, train, possibly a train. Oh, yeah, it could be a train. It could be train tracks for some sort of futuristic rail.
And we do see the pattern of the solar panels throughout all the building roofs. We saw it in the other buildings as well. This really incorporates the feeling of the solar panels, which is much better usage of electricity than things such as unrenewable sources, as oil and gas that we use in today's world. A future world would hopefully use renewable energy such as the wind or the solar panels we see in this build today.
You see now our competitor, after he finished completing the middle tower, he is now helping his teammate with constructing another tower in the corner. So it just showcases the teamwork that needs to be utilized to complete a project like this, and they're doing a great job. The Wardens seem to have it under control.
I'm aware that some teams are greater than others, so teams could stand from a team of 6, and like our team here, it's a team of 4. So they're doing a great job at managing their time, and they're like doing a great job at collaborating with each other, knowing what each of them has to do and what each of them have to complete.
I really want to note they're well done in a collaboration phase. Everyone seems to know exactly what they're going to be building. There's no pausing and stopping to think, oh, what should I build now? They're always go, 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 knowing what they have to build next, which is crucial in a competition such as this, with a small time limit. Every second matters, and that's exactly what they're doing. So the Wardens are doing a great job.
Now it appears that they are placing bookshelves and glass on top. So they might be creating some sort of library or just some sort of futuristic library. So yes, we'll have to wait and see where they go with it.
We're approaching the 11-minute mark, so it's 9 minutes have gone by in the competition. So we're just about halfway done. People have lots of builds going on. It seems to be going really well so far. Hopefully they get finished in time.
Crazy how much they've done so far with only 9 minutes in. They still have so much time to expand their build and expand their concept and their ideas. Looks like they have some designs for the front doors, the futuristic designs using stairs. Great use of stairs right there. And again, more solar panels, so good renewable energy source.
I'm seeing on one end, it looks like there's the big red H right where we are. So perhaps they're going to turn this corner building into a hospital maybe? Because it kind of appears like they're building their futuristic city as these tower buildings. And based on having the library and perhaps a hospital, then maybe there are a couple other buildings that these other two will become. But it's really interesting to see how their vision of a futuristic city is panning out, and how they're really integrating the form and infrastructure of the actual transportation into their city.
Yeah. And I love how they have lots of grass. Right now they seem to be adding a lot of grass blocks. It might end up turning into a farm, maybe for creating food. We're not sure yet, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But just overall, I like how we're seeing a lot of grass, a lot of nature. Like, obviously, we live in a commercial society, but we don't want to lose our roots.
So continuing on that point of the train, so it could possibly be those tracks could possibly be train tracks, and these 4 corners could possibly be stops. So one stop would be that farm that Saif was talking about earlier, and the other stop could be the library and the hospital that Michaela mentioned before. I don't know what that 4th one will turn out to be, but we'll see shortly. Again, more use of barrier blocks. Not sure exactly the use of these yet, but we'll see shortly.
So just answer some questions in the live stream. So if one about are they going one by one, or the live stream will bounce around. So currently we're doing like about one. This is one team right now. We should hopefully get maybe a few more on this build. Maybe like at the end, we'll showcase them at the finished product. We're doing one by one just for the build phase. It's just gonna be this one for the build phase. But after the builds are all finished and created, we should hopefully be able to get some more builds shown and showcased. There was some technical difficulties earlier, but we should get it up and running. And then someone else asked, what are they working on? Their job is to create a futuristic city, so with some type of future transportation. So they have to have sustainable energy, some futuristic buildings. It should be a big city, it says, and some type of transportation that we don't see in today's world. So today it looks like they're doing some type of train. They are doing the farm that we talked about earlier, and they also have like the hospital, the library, just all things that you need in a society today. So the wardens seem to be doing good on the third round of building prompt.
And it appears to be that this may not be this may be a sect of a city or a part of a city that just showcases that this neighborhood or this area is fully self-sustaining. They have everything that they need, and that would be a great idea for a future society, that you don't have to go super far to get a hospital or to go to the library. It's all within your neighborhood. So I'm really liking the creativity there. Now we see our competitor planting some wheat, it looks like. So once again, it just showcases that this farm will help sustain the people living in this area.
Looks like before they had a variety of crops, so just like Safe said, wheat, but along with that beetroot. They're also great use of bone meal on the grass. When placing bone meal on the grass, it creates vegetation. So those like little short grass, tall grass, and along with those dandelions and poppies. So great to show that it's sustainable and intertwines with nature. Adds the texture to the floor plan, not just in flat grass, but along with that, you got some plants. Someone in the comments just asked, when do we see other teams building? So right now we're looking in the building phase and the planning phase. We're going one by one. So we're looking at one team in plan phase, one team in the build phase, but we're looking to view other teams later down the line. Though there are a lot of teams here at this event, so we might not get through we will not get through all of them.
But as Justin was saying, our hope is during the judging phase that we can get some other teams to come up and showcase their finished builds, just so everyone that's watching can see maybe their own kids or their own friends build, just so everyone can see what's happening if they wouldn't be able to join us today.
Yeah. And just as this takes obviously a lot of focus, it's difficult to showcase multiple people's building process. So right now, just to not distract the competitors, we're doing it one at a time.
Just saw someone in the comments mention the debug stick. Yeah, the debug stick is a great way to alter builds, especially when it comes down to water. But it looks like this team did a great job at accounting for that. Instead of using the debug stick, they decided to use barrier blocks. Right now we're looking at them making the actual transportation cart on the rail. So we're going to see how futuristic that turns out to be in the end. But yeah, that debug stick would be great to have in this version of Minecraft, but unfortunately it is not. But the team has a workaround.
They seem to be building a train, some type of floating train, hovering train. We see no wheels. It could be using some gravity, electromagnetic, some future tech, kind of like a monorail in current today's society. But yeah, it's like a train, which is great. Carpooling things, just cars, as we know today, take up lots of space in the road, causing traffic. But if it's all just one train, what type of public transportation, you can gather many people on this train, transport them around the city without causing congestion and traffic.
And just a time check, we have just under 4 minutes left for this building phase before we will transition into the judging portion. And we'll hopefully learn a little more about this build when the students present it to the judges.
So we have someone in the comments asking us to look at the build of the Crimson Flares. Right now we are sticking with the Wardens just because it's easiest to keep the competitors focused. However, we'll try to request that team in the future for like later rounds, or if in the judging phase we can take a look at it.
So this build really reminds me of those carts on Ferris wheels. So I'm not sure if that's the goal of this build, but it looks as though they have seating and glass surrounding it, just like you would in one of those Ferris wheel carts, along with those carts that go up mountains. So it looks like you have some sort of seating, transportation, and a glass to be able to enjoy the view of the futuristic city.
So another thing to note is that these appear to be self-automated. It doesn't look like someone's driving them. Just seems like people are just sitting and relaxing. Ooh. And they just added a tree to the build. They seem to be trimming down the leaves. They did not expect it to be that large. However, it's nice to see that they're adding some... Oh, okay. So we have some technical difficulties right now, but they're taking care of it.
It appears they didn't want the tree to be so big. That's one problem with Minecraft, that you can't really choose what size the tree grows to. Using bone meal, it'll grow to a small tree or a big tree such as this. They hoped, I guess, for a smaller tree, and it turned out big. Hopefully they have how long? They have about 2 minutes left. Hopefully they can figure out the problem of the tree and get it back and running up.
No, Alex, I think I like the idea of the big tree. I think it adds a lot of it fills the empty space that's in between the buildings and the rail carts, and I actually like how it kind of meshes in with the cart, although they are trimming it down, which would be smart to give them more room to expand their build.
They also seem to be adding a path on the bottom floors. This way you don't have to rely on just the public transportation. You can also use the God-given transportation that we have called our feet and our legs. You don't have to take a big mode of transportation. You can just walk around, enjoy the neighborhood, enjoy the scenery, the trees, the nice water buildings. Even more here, even more solar panels powering the train rail or the some type of transportation rail. Just another way of not relying on these coal and unrenewable energy sources.
It's also possible that those, actually, never mind. No, those do look like solar panels. But it's very apparent that, like, having lots of agriculture, having lots of plants is very important to them. Because we keep seeing them go on the ground using bone meal. And they just did another tree, made another tree. But we just heard from one of the competitors saying, why are they growing so big? And so that's a big problem that they're going to have to try to solve. Now we have the last 15 seconds, so competitors are scrambling to fix this part of the build. Hopefully they'll be able to finish it. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the build. They have finished.
We will try to get other competitors in there to showcase their builds, but in that round, that was the Wardens. That was the Wardens build, their futuristic build. We saw buildings, railways, rail carts, and a lot of sustainable energy.
So just overall, accompanying the task of the project was to create a couple different key points. I think they got all of them. They made firstly they had to make a new type of transportation. They created the floating rails, which I think checks that box off. They had the new futuristic city, which I believe also ticked off with the water flowing down. It was very sustainable with the use of the solar panels and also like the agriculture and the walking around. It was very smart, as well as human sustainability. You didn't have to rely on other transportation and other means of food. They had a garden right in their own society, which is a great touch.
Yeah, overall, I think the Wardens did a great job. They had some troubles here and there, but they were able to adapt. And yeah, I think it was a great build.
Yeah, I think they had a really creative way of using all of their different blocks to make designs that will be definitely unique. I haven't seen anything like it in my building experience, and I'll definitely be taking some inspiration from them.
Yeah, I play a lot of Minecraft. I play some Hypixel, some build battles, and when I play, I love using the stairs. Like the team they use the stairs to make some sort of frame around the doors, along with breaking into the building and placing that water. So just kind of like futuristic, how water would naturally just flow away flow out. They just made it so it flows straight and did not move and stayed inside the confines of that building. Along with that, I noticed that solar panels were sticking out of the rail tracks. It was really great use of, I think it was trap doors. They made it so they open it and it had like some sort of like the pattern to and design to those solar panels.
And for those who might be confused or those who might have joined a little later, right now we are in the judging phase. So each group gets 3 minutes to make their case and tell a judge why their build was the best. So when a judge comes around to the wardens, we'll be sure to give you some insight into what they were thinking throughout the process. So right now we're just waiting for that to occur, and then afterwards we'll show you some other builds.
Good.
What? We'll be right back. Oh yeah. I forgot about that as well. Yeah, I forgot that was an option. Yeah, I was laughing. It wasn't too bad. That was good. I can like do whatever I can. Probably. Yeah, no, let's get the part of the fun. Hey, relax. I'm sitting down like. Yeah.
Let me check if the Crimson Flares were an actual team.
I hope so. Can you wait for safe?
Yeah, absolutely. So, get your happy on, okay?
Okay, where'd you go?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Safe. Were they?
Shots move up a little bit.
So, like, really good example. You know, that, but you have to have the mic up,
Oh, yeah.
right? Each of you are going to do that. Like, everybody's looking. Okay, look
Oh.
at the screen, like, you're talking, like, wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, pass the mic to somebody else. All right, same thing, like, you're not being crazy.
So we're talking about. Oh,
You see this, you guys?
did you see that?
That's right. Okay, pass for somebody else. All right. Yeah, I like that. Just good eyes. Good stuff. Right. Oh yeah, I like that. Holy smokes. Okay, go guys. We can stretch this side. Okay, go first. Okay, I don't know your name.
Safe.
Point to the screen, talk.
Do a thoughtful one. Like we're all like, I just said something really insightful.
Oh.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, that was really good. Okay, good stuff. All right. Okay, your voices should be, yeah, you're talking. Remember, you're talking. Okay, excellent. Pass the mic.
Something like something crazy just happened. They just blew up the base.
Oh yeah, that's good. Good, good. Keep the mic up to, okay, perfect. Love it. Good job, guys. Well done.
Let's get another row. Did you ask about the Crimson Flare?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Did you ask about showcasing the build? Well, yeah.
Did you ask about showcasing the build today?
I'll ask. I'll find it. Well, you can't ask them. Ask them now. Look, you can't ask the people that service the most.
I'm not asking the kids. I'm asking the dude. I don't know what's his name. You know his name?
Who?
The guy with the mustache.
I don't know who it is.
Max.
No.
I was mocking her character, I swear.
I know. I think I'll say. Give my cake. Everyone should know what I know.
Awesome job. Basically what we're going to do is when the judgment phase is sort of through, we're going to swap the teams over. When they get themselves set up, we should have the final judgments for this round. So we're going to bring you guys back on. Have you just go through the top 4 teams, whatever specifics of it are. And then we should be right into the next round. It should be a few more minutes.
What is pockets?
You're still
Starts, we're just going to look at another build. So this team is called the Nerds, and we're going to actually let the builders themselves talk about the build.
Yeah. Hello. This is our build. It is a futuristic city. As you can see here, we have a bunch of buildings and solar panels just to stay eco-friendly and not use up any fossil fuels. We have flying cars, which are normally expensive at this time, but for the cheaper option, you can use these tubes. They are very functional and work very well. They are fast and everything. Here you can see boats, so you can just take one and go. Very fast, very simple. You throw it back in so you don't waste stuff. Let's move on to other builds. So here it's just two people, waving. Here we have drones that deliver food. And here we have a garden. I'll let you explain.
Over here we have a greenhouse, which is because in the past years, climate change has been going up. So this is so we don't die of having no oxygen, anything that should produce air for us to breathe. Then also inside the system that we have, water purifier, which is so the water doesn't get all dirty for everyone going through the contraption.
Yeah. Here we have a worker. He works very hard and very well, just to keep the water safe so no one gets sick in here. So yeah. Here we have an electric station. So for all the cars, they can just here fuel up, and so they don't run out of energy. Here, a library, very useful for learning and teaching the newer species. So yeah, here a bunch of photos and no solar panels. So yeah, that's the build.
That's an excellent build from the Nerds.
Hello, everybody. We're back for round 4. And the building challenge for this one is super cool, and we're going to get into that right now. So, for this round, the team is competing for the opportunity to design a video game world that will be brought to life on a console of their choice. So, for this challenge, they need to create a climactic scene from the future video game that best represents the world and the story. So for this round, they have to showcase the setting and kind of show what it will look like during the big boss fight or the final battle of the game.
Yeah, so this is really cool round, and it's our finale. So we're just gonna get to see their creativity and get to see what they are thinking. So right now we're in the planning phase. So we see some sort of stair structure. They seem to be liking the sand. This is, by the way, the same group, the nerds that we just looked at. So they seem to be liking the sand aesthetic. That's their kind of vibe. So we're gonna see them do that right now.
So some aspects of this is that it must be an action adventure genre, so that the protagonist is moving through this designed world. And the game that you are building must have some sort of connecting theme. So it might be fantasy, it might be outer space, and maybe desert. So right now we're looking at sand and the use of sandstone and chisel sandstone. So maybe looking at a desert adventure game.
And the last points are there needs to be some type of final showdown. There's some type of final showdown between you and your the boss or like the evil entity that's fighting you in the video game. So you are the protagonist, and you're sometimes in a game such as Mario. It'd be the Mario versus Bowser. This is what they're trying to incorporate in their build. Also, your audience wants to have a sense of story of your game. So what did you accomplish? What journey did they go on? What was the point of the video game? So you want to get all of this inside of the build here. And just so you still need their whole build. This is because it's the planning phase. So during the planning phase, the 10 minutes, you can't actually build anything like for the actual build. You can plan stuff out, build something just to see how it would look. But before the building phase begins, you have to delete all of it anyways.
So we can kind of see this team is experimenting with different blocks, different levels. They're also using, looks like that same fill command perhaps that was used by the other team. And it looks like they're really enjoying this desert setting, which I think is a really cool place to have an action-adventure video game. Because, you know, there's so much that you can find in the desert.
So we see some piston action going on here. So they're gonna not just have a regular build, they're probably gonna have some redstone going on or some type of movement or animation. So that's gonna be really exciting to see.
Just a guess, it's based off like the redstone. It could be some type of traps, booby traps, maybe like a pyramid. They have to try to steal the treasure in a pyramid, and they're trying to get by these traps using the redstone and sticky pistons. Just a thought.
Kind of reminding me of The Legend of Zelda's Gerudo Valley. Although it does remind me of that, unfortunately they cannot replicate it as it has to be their own creative idea. But I do like the idea of the pyramids and implementing that into their action-adventure game. It'd be a great way to make it so the protagonist has to find some sort of treasure.
So now we're just gonna watch as they work, and just anything interesting that pops up, we will let you know. Would also love to hear your thoughts in the chat, and we'll be sure to respond.
So we're about halfway through the planning phase, and after about a little less than 5 minutes, they're going to be clearing this space and starting their building phase. So everything that we see right now, this is just their brainstorming, testing things out before they actually get started with the challenge.
one thing that we saw from the Warden earlier was a really good sense of the planning phase. They really broke it down to who's building what, so there wasn't any overlap or any confusion. I really hope the nerds can do this as well, so the build can be wonderful, spectacular as well.
I'm noticing that they aren't actually building the full pyramid. They're not actually building the full pyramid, but they're building just the base of the pyramid. So they're doing that to find the measurements. So instead of building the full thing up to the top and wasting a lot of their planning time, they're just going to build the base to understand their foundation and build up from there, as it should just be well, we're assuming it's a pyramid, so in a pyramid shape you just slowly go up and up by one block towards the inside.
And yeah, so this is we have someone in the comments asking what is the game. So this is the final round of a building competition. So before I get to that, actually, let's look at this redstone. They have something going on here. It appears to be a trap or some redstone pistons that are going back and forth. So that's going to be really interesting to see. It's a door that continues opening and closing. So that's a really interesting part of the build. But yeah, this is the 4th round of the Minecraft building contest. So every round, each group has had to build something, and they've been judged based on it. And in the end, the points will be tallied up, and the team that has the most points will win. So right now, we're there in the final round, and they're just trying to build a fight scene from their own personal video game. So it requires a lot of creativity, but I think the nerds got this.
We're noticing that redstone in the far corner. I noticed that the reason that the doors are moving so quickly to the point where you can't actually like really walk through it is because it's because they don't have the redstone is actually connected to anything. So when the redstone like I don't know what you call them, redstone, the little redstone dust, when the redstone dust contacts the redstone block, it activates the redstone block, which makes it move out of the way. And since it moves out of the way, that redstone dust is no longer contacting the redstone block, so the redstone block moves back. So now it's just in that cycle of moving back and forth really quickly. So if they added a repeater, then that would benefit their redstone contraption.
And something to note is that we're around a minute and a half left in the planning phase before each team of competitors will have to clear their base and start anew.
You're right. It cannot be based on a pre-existing game. That's why I said that it does run into Zelda, but unfortunately it cannot be Gerudo Desert. So it looks like they're going to be making some original desert scene. I'm curious to see what their boss and their obstacle is going to be, along with their treasure. So, yeah.
Yeah, now we're in the last minute of the planning phase. So I think from what we can see, the competitors are just communicating right now, figuring out what they're planning to do, and taking a break until time for competition. We have a lot of insightful comments coming from the chat. We got a lot of support from the nerds. A lot of people who are messing with the sand vibe. I also like it.
Yeah, I think a big pyramid would indeed look cool. They just have to keep in mind that they only have a certain 20-minute time limit. So trying to build too big could end up in not finishing the build, which we obviously wouldn't want to happen.
And that is the end of our collaboration phase. So we're going to be entering our building phase. So we're going to look at the same team. Oh, you can see one of them getting ready to make a command. So their world is wiped. And we're going to wait for the build phase to start. All the judges are just signaling that they're ready.
There's double checking that every single world is cleared. Make sure no one's cheating, no one has a world already built, because you only have 20 minutes. So if you already spent time building in the planning phase and don't delete it, you'd have a overstanding advantage over your opponents, which isn't fair. And we try to keep this fair competition for everybody.
Starting our last build phase, 20 minutes.
Now, so we've entered our last build phase, 20 minutes left, and they're off. So they just did a fill command, filled the ground with sand like they were planning earlier. And it doesn't look like they're being too specific about where to place the pyramid, unless they have it fully planned out, which in that case, they're really good at this game.
Yeah, just like someone said, the pyramid should be would be better if it was bigger. I like agree to disagree, because if they made it the pyramid bigger, then it would take up a lot of their space, and they still need to implement some sort of boss and some sort of treasure, and also the redstone from before. The build phase is 20 minutes. Yep, as you can see at the bottom right corner, they have about 19 minutes and 30 seconds left until the build phase is over and going into the judging phase. Looks like magma blocks, so adding some sort of like color instead of just making it all sandy color, making it adding a cactus in the background too, so green, red, orange. You can see all the other builds in the background that they have done so far. We could possibly look at them and see which ones are which. Looks like they're all working on the same pyramid, trying to get the pyramid done as quickly as possible. But the pyramid is it square? Does it look square? So yeah, we're just gonna watch them, and we're gonna comment on whatever they have going for them.
That's true. Making like the pyramid as like the arena for all the boss and everything to be fighting in there, that would be a pretty good idea. But I'm not. That could be their idea. I'm not quite sure. We'll wait and see. But that would be a good idea. Oh. Yeah. Now I was getting a view of everybody. Just all the competitors in the competition. We see many schools, many people. There's 23 teams all around Ontario. We have people from Ottawa, people from Milton, people from everywhere around Ontario. It's just a great group of collaboration. Everyone that loves Minecraft.
Yeah, and perfect, because we're using the Microsoft headquarters here in Toronto. They have 2 floors, and they're letting us use their first floor, which is awesome for this event, as Microsoft does. I think they own Minecraft, so it's perfect for this setting. You can see the team that we were just looking at is right there in front of the camera, right beside us here. That's the team that we're looking at right now. So in the comments I see, can we see the other team's builds? Unfortunately, we are going one by one through the rounds, and I'm fairly sure this is going to be the last team we're looking at for today, as this is the last round. But we can try to look at other teams, because we've asked before, but they've said that we gotta do it one by one.
Yeah, so we'll try our best to get another one, but we're not fully sure if we can, just because of the technical difficulties we had earlier. This is the best we can do at the moment. But to be fair, the nerds are doing a great job right now, so I don't think they're not disappointing. It's a great job.
Yeah, I was just making sure that they that I was saying it right. But yeah, they did buy Minecraft. I remember the crisis with trying to switch your Minecraft account to the Microsoft email and saying that they delete your account. It was kind of scary, but it's okay, because I still got all my stuff. I've been playing Minecraft since I was like 6 years old. Played with my dad until.
So back looking on the build, it seems that this isn't a full. Their pyramid is a little more rectangular, so that's another direction that they chose to go with. So it's turning out pretty well.
We can see some mannequins around the map. Seems to be one guy seemed to have fallen in the lava and died. Just shows the difficulty of the level in their challenge. There's also another man in diamond armor. Potentially could be our protagonist. He's going in there to challenge the boss, maybe to avenge the person that died in the lava. We'll wait and see.
And I really like how they're not just sticking with one single color palette, how they're kind of mixing it up with the lava, with all the skulls and the magma. It's really giving it a vibe of, you know, it's a real adventure. You're in the desert, there's obstacles all around. And I'm really interested to see what they're going to be putting in or around the pyramid, how they're going to be using that as part of the game for this final boss fight. Definitely looks like there's a lot of skulls in this desert, so I'm not sure that I'd really want to go here.
And it appears that they've gone away from the pyramid design that they started with. Obviously, there still is a pyramid, but now they've kind of built a tower on top of it, it looks. And the inside of the pyramid, as suggested by someone within the chat, I guess you were reading their mind, they are using it for part of the build. So we can see a bunch of skulls, a bunch of lava, some glowstone. So yeah, it's a really interesting way to go with it.
There's actually, now that I'm looking at the full pyramid, it actually does remind me a lot of, if anyone has played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, it has the great, the pyramid looks really, really similar. I love the design, and I think it's a really good idea to, looks like we somehow glitched into the wall of the pyramid, and we can see that lava flowing from the top adds some sort of danger aspect to this pyramid, showing the traps and obstacles that the protagonist has to overcome to get over there, to get over to the boss and the treasure.
Let's look at the time here. We're about almost just over a quarter of the way done, maybe about a third. Seems to have a lot of good progress done. The almost the whole pyramid is done. They haven't added the redstone door we saw them building earlier. That seems to be going to take up place later. But the inside of the pyramid is almost done, it seems. They're adding the lava on the outside and some texture we saw with the terracotta. Just really add some pop, doesn't keep it boring and bland. Add some color that really captures your eye.
Yeah, and with about 15 minutes left, I would love to see, or 13 minutes left, I'd love to see maybe some signs of the boss itself. But overall, this is looking great. The nerds are doing a great job. And yeah. And we see some campfires going on. Oh, that's actually a really good adjustment. So they place the campfires under the sand blocks to make some smoke come from the sand, which just showcases how hot it is.
I like how they made it, instead of just flat on the outside and just have the pyramid in the middle, they added cacti along with little sand like mounds around, along with the, like Safe said, the campfires to add smoke coming from the ground, kind of like showing the fires burning. It's something you have to overcome, the protagonist, when going against whatever boss lies in the pyramid. But it's great use of like texture to add like mounds like sand. So when I build, I like using stone stairs and walls to add some sort of texture to these mounds. But it looks like they're on the right track with that. Along with the dead, what are they called? Dead sticks, dead plants. The dead bushes. The dead bushes they added, the little like the brown little plants that are dead, to symbolize that the sand is like stripped of life. It says stripped of life both in plant life and in the human life, as we can see with the skulls.
And it looks like right now they're experimenting with the campfires and which blocks will actually let the smoke through to make that effect of the smoking pyramid. But I'm not sure about, or maybe even kind of like a volcano type idea. Maybe that's the inspo.
From what we're hearing from the group, from their own comments, the boss actually might end up being in itself the pyramid, because we see kind of a skeleton face going on. So the boss, which I think is a really good idea, it appears to be that the boss is the pyramid itself. So the traveler or the protagonist is going to have to fight against the landscape, against the pyramid.
Yeah, I agree, Steve. That's a great idea, along with the aspect of the lava, how it's kind of like flowing out of this this enemy combatant pyramid. It has the lava flowing out, attacking the protagonist.
Just going off what they said as well, it's really a really creative idea. Typically, you think of a antagonist as one person, but in this case, it's the building. I'm not sure if it's going to be a living pyramid that has like can attack you, or if it's just like the lava and the smoke that's going to fight against you. But I know there are some games just getting over it, where you are fighting against the landscape, trying to get to the top. But this one seems to be just like that. You're trying to get inside the pyramid, maybe some treasure in the inside, but the pyramid's going to try to stop you and not let you get its treasure.
Yeah, and since the pyramid is hollow, it might be that it's a bit of both. It might be the protagonist has to fight against the terrain and also has to fight against a boss, which seems like a great idea. I'd play the game. I'd play this game. It seems fun, and that seems like an epic boss battle. And now it looks like they're constructing someone who has been buried under sand.
One thing I think that we have not seen a limit of in this throughout our day of Minecraft building challenges has been creativity. Each time I watch a different team build, I've learned something new, and I've seen new ways of using Minecraft blocks that I hadn't thought of before. Even in this case, using the armor stands and using the campfires. This is all new learning for me. I haven't done this before. And I think that's just so cool how we're able to not only have a ton of fun watching these rounds, but also learning from them as well.
I truly think that's what this competition is all about. It's not just winning, it's also about showing off your creativity, your skills, you're teaching other people around you other ways to build, other things to do in this cool game called Minecraft. It's just a cool outlet for kids to demonstrate their cool skills, and it's art.
Now we see our competitor trying to, it appears to be put an armor stand underground with the campfire to kind of portray like a person who's been like burning or who's been burnt under hot sand. Seems to be struggling a little bit, but I'm sure they'll get it. Once again, we'd love to hear from the chat. Just interact with you guys, make it as entertaining for you guys as possible.
Minutes in the build phase, and they've already accomplished a lot, only halfway, and they still have so much more time to expand their build and add even more. I don't know what they could possibly add on top of all what they have done so far.
And it seems as though we just saw the boss fight. So they're not just fighting the train, it seems like they're also fighting a character. Inside the pyramid we saw a gold figurine guarding what seems like a totem of undying and some gold, which I agree would be the treasure. So it seems like this protagonist, this guy in the diamond armor, has to climb and traverse this scary mountain of lava and fight this golden creation inside of the pyramid.
And those skeleton faces that we saw in the pyramid were likely probably just the decorations that this skeleton like boss is having in his pyramid. And once again, sorry, but this is the way it is. We are unable to showcase any other teams at the time. We will try to, at the end when they're tallying up all the votes, we'll try to get another team in here so you guys can see their builds. But unfortunately, because of the technical difficulties we had earlier, this is the best we can do at the moment. However, I assure you all the teams are putting in a great job right now and they're doing great. We see now the nerds are experimenting with some other blocks and other commands to try to get their plan to work. They seem to be trying to get this armor stand to look right as it's buried under sand. Now they're using fill command, which is very creative.
Now with commands like fill, where you have to input coordinates, if you stand in one spot and you input the little squiggly that you saw in the chat there as the X, Y, and Z, then it'll just do whatever it asks in your spot. So for example, if you want to teleport someone to your location, you could just do the 3 squigglies and it'll do it exactly where you are. So I assume that's what they were using to fill whatever they wanted in the location they were standing.
That's just a wonderful tactic we saw there. We saw them earlier struggling, trying to put the sand on top of the creation to make him look like he's suffocating. It wasn't working, so they found a way around that, found a solution to use the /fill command. It's truly ingenious.
Yeah, and that's also another really important thing about part of this competition is that technical difficulties will come up, problems will occur, and like sometimes the technology is not always working well. But the competitors still have to compete. The show must go on. So they must just find other ways to get around the problems, and that was a perfect example of them doing that.
Awesome how they use their pyramid as both their boss fight and their treasure. So as you can see, they have like this like kind of king skeleton at the front, and then two wither looking skeletons on the right and two on the left, with gold and a totem of undying at the back, just showcasing that treasure being guarded by these antagonists. Along with that, they're using their 5 minutes of time, as they've already completed all the requirements for their build. They're using that extra 5 minutes to add more aspects. So like those wither skeletons there, and along with the several armor stands resembling people who are drowning in the lava from trying to retrieve this treasure.
Yeah, and from the vibe that they're trying to give off using these armor stands, it seems that this boss has killed a lot of people, has gone through a lot of other heroes, so I wouldn't want to personally mess with this guy, but it seems like our protagonist is a stronger man than I am, so we'll see how that fight goes.
I also really like one part of the build challenge mentioned that they wanted the whole video game idea to be on one theme and have the certain atmosphere. And I feel like this team has really maintained that theme and atmosphere throughout their build. So there isn't a time where we forget that we're in the middle of the desert with all of this lava all around us. Even the boss fits into this landscape, which is really, really cool.
And they just seem to have put down a camera block, which is a very nice touch, as like when you play a game, obviously you have to look at it through a perspective. So I love how they're kind of also including other details, like breaking the fourth wall a little bit and showcasing other details of the game. And here they just wrote a sign explaining that this is actually the trailer for their game, which I think is very creative and a very nice thought. And we're approaching the 3-minute mark, so they're just adding their finishing touches now.
As you can see behind the protagonist there in the diamond armor, there's a camera. I'm assuming they're using this to show that the camera is there to kind of like the camera perspective from the you know how in game they might have a perspective that is far off or maybe close up. So this is kind of how they're showcasing where that perspective is at.
Just nearing the end of this round, I just want to go over, I believe they covered every single point that they have to capture. They got the theme, they got the boss fight, they got the atmosphere, they got the journey. I think this the journey is the protagonist in the diamond armor. He made his journey, he chased this, to find this treasure through the desert, and he's trying to do what these other people have not been able to do. They all failed to get this treasure. He believes he can finally be the one to save everyone and get this treasure.
Yeah, and now we're approaching the 2-minute mark now, and like as I see from the chat, we got a lot of support from the nerds, from family and friends, and I think they have not disappointed. They have done a great job, and this build's looking amazing. So we're gonna see how it turns out, how the judges think, and we're just gonna enjoy the finishing touches in the last minute and 50 seconds. Oh yeah, another interesting part of it is in the planning period, we noticed that they had redstone that they used, but we have not seen it just yet. So maybe that's an idea that they're saving for a little bit, or yeah, maybe that's an idea they're saving for a little bit, or maybe due to time or other factors, they have decided to scrap it. An important part of winning something like this is knowing when to quit and managing your time properly. So when certain things might not be working, it's important to understand that it might not be the best idea.
Looks like they use the armor stand pose, the dab pose in the armor stand to showcase someone controlling the camera. As Safe mentioned, that this could possibly be a trailer, and that camera is just showing that perspective. So it's great that they utilize the armor stand positions. That wasn't added recently, but definitely wasn't in the early ages of Minecraft.
Here just to clarify the person's goal. He says he's going to murk this boy. It's just showing that this guy in the diamond armor is going to chase after into this dangerous pyramid and try to kill or defeat the antagonist inside that's guarding the treasure.
And it seems that they have been deleting some things, so I don't know if they didn't like where it was, or they're trying to change it up a little bit?
4, 3, 2, 1. The build phase is over.
Build this face is over. So that was a great job from the nerds, and yeah, the competition, that's the last build phase of the day. So now we're just waiting on what the judges are saying. We're gonna be waiting for the judges to go around, and we're gonna, yeah, just see how it goes, and we'll declare your winners after.
everybody. We are back after the judging round, and we are just going to talk with the Nerds group about their video game build. And do you guys want to say your name first and then talk about what you want to highlight in your video game?
My name's Lachlan, and yeah, our video game is about a desert, and we're explorers trying to find a secret totem called the Totem of Life, and it's in the middle of filming a movie as well. So, all right. So starting off, you go and
Thanks. All right. Do you want to say your name and start talking about the build?
Yes, my name is Nathan. So this world here is, as he said, it's about a desert, and your hero, your player character, is trying to find the Totem of Life, which is hidden inside this temple. So outside here, we've got the hero in blue, right over there, behind a cameraman for like a trailer shot, I guess. Outside the build, we can see that there's a civilian right there saying, "Help me, hero," because obviously he's trapped in sand that's smoking. We've also got another civilian trapped inside a lava bed. Maybe it's a bit too late for them. As we go around the build, you can see that this is a very hostile landscape, as you can see all the sorts of fire hazards, such as the smoke that we just passed, the magma blocks, and the lava pouring down the temple should signify it. The with skeletons coming out would be like the enemy's henchmen, as it's one final attempt to stop him from entering the temple. And as we go into the temple, we would get to the boss fight. So here we have the henchmen and the boss. The boss right there is given an elongated neck just to make him a bit taller than the player. His henchmen right there, clad in the blue and yellow iron armor, they are here to help their boss take down the hero in order to stop him from taking the Totem of Life from their sacred temple. Now, the boss here is a very special boss, because this boss has once encountered the hero and defeated him, so it's also like a revenge story for the hero. Not only is he trying to take the Totem of Life, he's also trying to settle a score. With around the room, you can see that there's skulls around pillars, a bunch of hazardous environments on the ground for the player to dodge while he's fighting the boss, and you can see that it can be illuminated by the glowstone underneath the walls, and it's fragments of gold littered around the arena.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks so much for explaining your build. You guys did a great job, and you really stuck to that theme. Thanks so much. And we're going to cut for now, but we'll come back for the awards.
Welcome back, everybody, to the OC Ontario Provincial Minecraft Tournament. We have officially finished for the day, and we've handed out all the medals. So now we just like to inform you of who got third, second, and first place. So, drum roll, please. For third place is...
The Wardens from St. George.
So good job to the Wardens and everyone who's supporting the Wardens. And now for second place.
Our second place winners were the Bolts from Our Lady of Victory.
And our champions were the...
Also coming from St. George, Lady of Minecraft, the Ladies of Minecraft.
So those were the 3 teams that got third, second, and first. And that was our event for tonight.
So I'll say congratulations to every single team that participated. Everyone did great builds. It was a close competition, and everyone should be proud of themselves.
Thank you so much to everybody involved in this event, and thank you to everybody watching the live stream. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.